Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, my name is Rahaf Al-Khazraji, a researcher at Trans Research and Advisory. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all to the symposium entitled Turkey-GCC Relations, Outlook and Prospects. The symposium discusses the Turkey-GCC relations, including the future of the relations between the two countries, the cultural relations, and the economic, political, and security dimensions. Historically, the GCC states and Turkey maintained cordial ties, primarily driven by economic and trade interests. Turkey's geographical proximity to the GCC, its growing economy, and its role as a regional power have made it an attractive partner for the Gulf countries. Trade relations between the two sides have flourished, with significant bilateral investments and the exchange of goods and services. We are now witnessing a new Turkish approach towards the GCC countries. I think this new approach will continue to strengthen ties and strategic partnerships between the two parties regardless of the presidential elections. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to introduce our esteemed guest and keynote speaker for today's panel discussion. We are privileged to have with us His Excellency Ambassador Tugay Tuncer, Ambassador of the Republic of Turkey to the UAE. With his extensive experience and profound knowledge, Ambassador Tuncer brings a wealth of expertise to our discussion today. Mr. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Hello? Yes, it works. Thank you very much, and apologies for the delay. It was beyond my power, so I'm happy to be here. It's a pleasure to be the keynote speaker of the symposium on the relations between Turkey and the GCC. I thank the organizers, Trends Research and Advisory, for inviting me to share my talks on this important topic. To start with, I believe the concept of new era of partnership best captures the current state of affairs between Turkey and the Arab states of the Gulf. Before delving deep into the concept and what is meant by the new era in the Turkish-Khaliji partnership, let me briefly touch upon the past of our cooperation with the GCC. As you all know, our relationship with the Gulf is not new. It has its roots in the long history we share. We have the close bond of culture and the people-to-people ties, which have always been strong and dynamic. Besides the bilateral relations between Turkey and the individual GCC states, the relations at the institutional level with the Gulf Cooperation Council as a regional forum spans more than 2 decades. Speaking of the institutional history of Türkiye-GCC relations, it would be crucial to highlight the fact that Turkey is the first country with which the GCC has established a strategic dialogue mechanism. The relations with the Gulf Cooperation Council started with the signing of the Framework Agreement for Economic Cooperation back in 2005 in Manama. At the time, economic incentives were at the forefront, and the first step taken was to establish a joint committee for economic cooperation. Shortly after, the Memorandum of Understanding establishing a strategic dialogue mechanism was signed in 2008 in Jeddah, within the margins of the Türkiye-GCC Foreign Ministers meeting. This mechanism for strategic dialogue set the ground for deepening relations with the GCC in all areas, including political and cultural, in addition to existing economic cooperation. Thus, it has been acknowledged since the early stages of Türkiye-GCC cooperation that this relationship bears strategic importance, and strengthening the dialogue not only on bilateral but also on the regional level is a necessity. It was true then, and even more relevant today, that the cooperation between these two areas in the north and the south of the Middle East, as zones of prosperity and stability in the turbulent wider region, is very important in terms of regional politics. Today, the GCC countries cover a total area of almost 2.5 million kilometers square and have a total combined population of around 55 million people. Its member states are amongst the richest countries in the world in terms of energy reserves and perhaps the most prosperous in the Middle East. The trajectory of GCC to become a united front for the countries of the Arab Gulf and its increased leverage in the regional politics add to its strategic importance. Turkey, on the other hand, is one of the strongest industrial economies in the region. with young and dynamic population of 85 million people, a central hub for transport, trade, and energy routes on the crossroads of East-West and North-South axis, having the second largest armed forces in the Euro-Atlantic area and a booming indigenous defense industry. Turkey projects security and stability in its region and beyond. All these factors, together with the complementarity between the economies of the GCC states and that of Turkey, present vast opportunities for increased cooperation and mutual advantage that could benefit the whole region. Based on this shared belief and mutual understanding, relations between Turkey and the Arab states of the Gulf have grown over the time. There has been a period when the relations slowed down due to the impact of external and internal dynamics or regional tensions, yet the cooperation had never ceased. We are now in a new era in which cooperation with the Gulf countries is in full swing. Thanks to our strong common bonds and shared interest, our cooperation with the Arab states of the Gulf is progressing well. Our trade volume with the GCC is increasing. In the last 20 years, it has expanded more than 12-fold, reaching $30 billion, and it is constantly expanding. Projects that were undertaken by Turkish constructors in the Gulf reached $57 billion in total. The direct investment from the Gulf to Turkey exceeds $40 billion. There is still untapped potential, though. Currently, we are aiming to resume the Türkiye-GCC Free Trade Agreement talks. As you know, we recently signed the SEPA, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, with the UAE. This can be a model for the regional free trade agreement as well. We are also pleased to see that there is a strong mutual will to revitalize relations between Turkey and the GCC. These relations are turning into new pillars of regional security, stability, and prosperity. Up to now, we had 5 ministerial level meetings of the Türkiye-GCC high-level strategic dialogue mechanism. It's the main platform to coordinate and determine future cooperation between Turkey and the GCC with all its dimensions. We believe this valuable and unique institution will continue its important role for immediate future of the Türkiye-GCC relations. We notice a tremendous increase in the number of tourists coming from the Gulf to Turkey. Our country has become second home for many Gulf citizens. Likewise, the number of Turkish tourists to the Gulf is also rising. I know from my own experience as the ambassador of Turkey here in Abu Dhabi that white-collar Turkish nationals, business people, and entrepreneurs are choosing Dubai and Abu Dhabi to work and invest. There are more than 40,000 Turks living in the UAE. The interest in the culture and language of Turkey, as we see it from the popularity of Turkish movies within the region, is also getting higher. People from both sides seek stronger cooperation and interaction between our countries in the area of cultures. Turkey's participation to Abu Dhabi International Book Fair as a guest of honor this week is a reflection of this desire on both sides. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an ongoing transformation in the regional security architecture that leads to new initiatives. As a strategic dialogue partner of the GCC, we welcome the new atmosphere of engagement and cooperation in the region. We face the same threats and challenges. Terrorism and extremism are our common enemy. We see security and stability of the Gulf region inseparable from our own. We believe that the political cooperation is necessary to ensure stability of the region, such as in matters of mitigating ongoing crises in the Middle East. Turkey is a reliable, committed, credible, and capable partner for the Gulf. It is for the best interests of both Turkey and the GCC to strengthen and broaden the ties, elevate the partnership, not only economic terms, but also in areas of security and strategic aspects. Contributing to stability and security in the region is our main goal, and cooperation is the only formula for a win-win situation for all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for sharing your valuable insights. Before I go ahead and ask a couple of questions, I'd give the floor to our audiences to ask just a couple of questions.
So
So if anyone wants have a question, just please raise your hand. And okay, I'll ask. Is there like a question there? I haven't. Okay, I'll ask a question. So, in your opinion, do you think the Turkey-GCC relations are gonna change regardless of the presidential elections, the results of the elections?
I mean, of course, I cannot comment on the elections. I'm the ambassador, but the relations between Turkey and the GCC are not between government to government only. It is a very. I mean, as I mentioned before, the GCC process with Turkey started long before. We had many meetings, we had many dialogue mechanism meetings, many ministerials. So it is an institutional relationship. Whoever is leading Turkey is governing Turkey. So there is only one choice: to contribute to these relations, because it benefits both the north of the Middle East, also the south of the Middle East.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Does anyone else have any questions?
Hello, Mr. Ambassador. My name is Ersoy. I work for Bloomberg. This year, UAE will be hosting COP28, and it's very important for them. Will Turkey be the contributor for this event? How will we cooperate with UAE?
We already started to work with the UAE on this. Our Ministry of Environment, who's responsible for the COP, has already direct contact and dialogue. So Turkey will definitely, as we participated in the previous COP summits, we will also participate in this one more actively and much more in cooperation with the UAE.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. I believe that concludes the end of this discussion. On behalf of Trans Research and Advisory, I would like to thank you for being here and thank the viewers. Thank you so much.